once bought a comic, Lady Justice, and because it was written on the front Neil Gaiman. But Neil Gaiman turned out not to be the writer of these comic stories. It turned out he just came up with the idea. But I was highly disappointed in this comic. I thought some lady seeking justice for those who don't get it is a really entertaining subject. But this turned out to be not that. The comic would be better titled as Lady Revenge. And I must admit, I thought all of these stories were repetitive and boring. Hi, I'm Annie, and this is not about complaining about a comic. This video is a review of Judex, which has a similar concept. But as Lady Justice doesn't have any depth at all, Judex has all the depth you can think of. It's not only a story about seeking justice, revenge, but it's also a story about love and the dilemma of taking the law into your own hands. This is a novelization, and it is one of the first novelizations of a film series or film ever. It's not the first one. The first one I think is Le Vampire, but I think this is the second novelization. Novelizations go back to opera times and theater times, so it's not a new concept. But having a novelization of a new medium, then new medium when Judex came out, is really and was a novelty. The series can still be seen on YouTube, and I can highly recommend it. It is 5 hours watch time, but I can highly recommend you watch it if you like a good silent film series, because the story is just excellent. And I must say, there is also a very excellent music that accompanies it. And the music is by Robert Israel, so it's worth mentioning his name as well. So what is the story about? Well, Judex means justice in Latin, and the story begins with a vagabond, an old vagabond, knocking at the door of a rich banker, and this vagabond asks this banker to help him find his son. The banker refuses and subsequently knocks the old vagabond over with his car. He runs him down with his car. And later, not soon after that, a little bit later after that, the banker gets a note. And in this note it's written that or he gives his money away to make up for his crimes, because this is not the first crime he has committed, or he dies. And it's signed Judex. Well, who is this Judex? Well, of course, this banker totally ignores this threat. Well, he is a little bit frightened, so he asks a private investigator to find this Judex and find out who this Judex guy is, but he doesn't succeed in it, and of course the banker dies. And this is not the end of the story. This is just the beginning of the story. Who is this mysterious Judex? And what is he up to, and why is he doing all of these things? But this Judex, he appears in the novelization. In the film series he appears quite soon, but in the novelization it takes a little while for him to appear, but when he appears it is great. And I don't want to give anything away of the plot, but it is really an excellent written story with depth in it. I found the story, the characters of the story are more developed in the novel than in the film series, and as not only the character of Judex and his struggle to complete his revenge, or not a revenge, seeking justice, he has a trouble completing his task as he starts to question his actions, and all sorts of things happen. So the character of Judex is very well developed in the novel. Also the criminals that are in this novel, because there are other criminals besides of the banker that are after the banker's money. These criminals are also very well developed characters, and there is the private investigator in the story. It brings in a more light-hearted, humorous note to the story, so that is entertaining, and we see more character development in his character. And there is of course there is the daughter of the banker and her son and his little friend, and all things combined, Judex finds it difficult to complete his task. The story is very well written. The story is by Louis Feuillade and Arthur Bernède. They wrote the film script, but they also wrote the novel. And the novel follows closely the film story, the story of the film, but it has a slight difference in the ending, as there is a swimming scene near the end that is better written, I think, in the novel than in the book, because there is more suspense in the novel added. But the film series has also a very excellent, there are plot twists and turns everywhere. So I found that highly entertaining. In 1916, when Judex was made, Feuillade and Bernède, they did two films before that, two film series before Judex, and the first one was Fantomas, and Fantomas is a master criminal, and the second series, the Fantomas, was I think in 1913, and yes, and Les Vampires was another series, and that was from 1915. But they were excellent, and they were highly popular amongst the cinema going people, but there was criticism. There were people criticizing these film series as they both glorified criminals. So they thought, well, we now have a hero that is noble and seeks justice. And for this, Feuillade and Bernède took inspiration from Alexandre Dumas' The Count of Monte Cristo. But it's not literally a copy, of course, but they took some elements out of that. I haven't read The Count of Monte Cristo yet. I do intend to read it in the future, but to see if what to compare the two. I can highly recommend Judex, the novelisation, but also Judex, the film series. These are really excellent. These are really excellent. You can read it whenever you like, of course, but in February I'm organizing Filmtastic February, and this is a reading event that concentrates on film and film-related fiction and non-fiction. So that would be a good excuse to pick this novel up. If you want to help me get more unknown gems of undiscovered or books or lesser known novels to a wider audience and get them under a wider audience, please like and subscribe, as the algorithm likes it a lot, to feed the algorithm and pushes these videos more to to the viewers of YouTube, because there are so many undiscovered and lesser known gems out there waiting for readers to read them. As always, thanks for watching.